Ghost projects. It sounds like something out of a horror movie, right? A Phantom Menace or a spooky tale to tell around the campfire. But for millions of people in the Philippines, ghost projects are a terrifying reality. It's not a monster that goes bump in the night. It's a politician in a luxury car, or a public official in a mansion, paid for with stolen money. And it leads a path of devastation that's all too real. I'm talking about the floods in the Philippines. The kind that don't just soak your shoes, but sweep away homes, destroy livelihoods, and in some cases, take lives. It's a reoccurring, predictable tragedy in one of the most storm-prone countries on Earth. And the horrifying part, it's not just a natural disaster. It's a man-made one. It's a disaster built on the foundation of corruption. We've all seen the images, right? The water up to a person's chest, families on rooftops, children being carried through what looks like a river. And you'd think with a problem so massive and so constant, the government would be pouring every single peso it has into flood control. Building dikes, dredging rivers, creating proper drainage systems. And they are allocating the money. Billions of dollars, in fact. Over $9 billion US in the last few years alone. But where's it going? A Senate committee in the Philippines has called the current flood control program a grand robbery. So think about that. It's not a mistake, not a miscalculation. A grand robbery. You know what they found? They found that as much as 60 to 70% of the funds of these projects are being siphoned off. And that's kickbacks and commissions. They're building dikes with the cheapest cement that you can crumble with your bare hands. They're paying for ghost projects that literally don't exist. They're funneling the money meant to protect the poor into the pockets of the rich. And who are these people? Well, you've got senators, you've got members of the House, high-ranking officials in the Department of Public Works and Highways, the very people entrusted with the safety and well-being of the public. They're caught on camera, their names are being read out in television hearings. A construction company owner who won a massive contract just recently is in the news, showing off a fleet of European luxury cars. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. Imagine this. A family loses their home to a flood. Their entire life savings washed away in a torrent of water. Their kids miss school. They've got no place to sleep, all because a politician, a public servant, decided that a new Lamborghini was more important than a new drainage system. A senator thought building a bigger mansion was more valuable than a sturdy seawall. The blatant, shameless arrogance of it all is kind of sickening. The greed is a disease. It's killing people. It's not a victimless crime. The victims are the people wading through the dirty floodwaters. The community is being swept away. The families mourning their dead. And the tragedy of this is so specific, right? It's not just the Philippines. It's the people of Rizal, a town where residents are so used to the waters rising that they've built second-story escape routes in their homes. But what does that matter when the flood control project meant to protect them is a sham? It's the people of Bulacan, a town that sits in a catch basin where floods can take weeks to recede. They've been promised dikes and river dredging for years, yet the money disappears. Residents there were wading through chest-deep water while officials were being exposed for pocketing millions. It's the poor farmers of Misamis Occidental who lost their crops and their livelihoods to flash floods. It's families in Cebu who had their homes swept away by raging currents after massive monsoon rains. Rain that a proper drainage system could have handled. They're not just numbers. They're real people with real lives and real families. People like the man in Mindao City, Cebu, who died trying to save a taxi from being swept away. His only livelihood being washed away, and he sacrificed his life to try and protect that for his family. A life lost for a broken system. And all the while, the money that could have built the infrastructure to save these people is being used to buy mansions and luxury cars. The anger is palpable. Tens of thousands of Filipinos have taken to the streets in recent days, protesting this institutionalized theft. They're demanding accountability. They're demanding the return of the stolen money, and they're demanding justice. And it's not just some fringe group. it's students, it's church groups, it's everyday citizens from every walk of life. They see what's happening. They see the contrast between their reality and the lives of those who are supposed to be there serving and protecting them. Now, this isn't just a Philippine problem, right? This is a global issue. Corruption is the same everywhere. It's a small group of powerful people profiting from the misery of many. It's an abuse of the public trust that undermines everything good in a society. It makes you wonder, how can any real progress be made when the very people in charge of building a better future are so busy stealing the foundations? So, what's the point? Why am I telling you this? Because we can't let this be a footnote. We can't let it be just another news story that we scroll past on our phones. We have to be outraged. We have to shine a light on this kind of injustice wherever it happens. Because if we don't, if we just accept it as the way things are, then we're complicit. So let's demand accountability. Let's stand with the people of the Philippines who are bravely fighting for a future where the Ghost Project is just a spooky story and not a deadly reality. Let's make sure that the people who stole from the poor have to answer for their crimes.